Things flash back to 5 years prior at the bustling market where people make their wagers on the latest electro kart race. Karuko is on the grid and even the fourth favorite. As they line up, the crowd shouts at the drivers in a self-entitled manner to perform well. The lights turn green as they jet off. Karuko climbs up the ranks, making a number of skillful passes. All the while, her younger brother Haruki chases down some hooligans, but the table turns when the duo gang up on him. They pull out a knife to end him since he has seen their faces, but Robin makes it just in time to punish the assailants for their fake ticket racket. Haruki watches in awe before he's given points on how to fight in preparation for his next encounter. He makes it back to camp where he shows off the jacket that Robin gave him. Shortly after, they are joined by his sister and the doctor. She informs him that she got disqualified because she fell off her cart, but she tells him that she is not injured. When he starts to get worried, the doctor confirms her statement. One of the girls wants to capture a moment, so she takes a picture with Karuko and the doctor. As they walk off, one guy comments on the rumors that the doctor is researching the creatures known as the man-eaters and even experimenting on humans. Robin is investigating the claims as they speak, so he warns Haruki to keep his sister away from the guy. Night falls and the siblings are unable to sleep at the orphanage because of the cold. Their attention is drawn outside when they hear the commotion. Haruki asks Robin, who alerts him of the man-eater that has appeared in the 3rd district. He tells the young lad to go back to sleep as the monster is not coming near their territory. Haruki quickly gets dressed and arms himself with his makeshift gun, full of determination to help Robin. The following day, he practices with his weapon when he's interrupted by 2 people who commend him for exterminating the monster the previous night with that weapon. Haruki reveals that Robin was rather angry because he put himself in harm's way. He still has PTSD because he lost his sister, who was the same age 10 years prior during the Great Disaster. Haruki cuts his exposition short when he realizes that Karuko's race is about to start. He makes his way to a vantage point where he overlooks the track and finds a camouflage man-eater at one of the sections. He rushes down to warn them of the danger, but he's too late. As the race begins, Haruki decides to confront the monster alone, as the carts will reach that location in the next 8 minutes. He loads a bolt into his weapon, ready to replicate the previous night's success, but the outcome is completely different as the projectile just bounces off the monster. It deactivates its camouflage to reveal its grotesque form. Haruki decides to go close combat when he removes his jacket and charges with a knife. He lands an attack, but that too does little damage. He instead gets ensnared by the man-eater as it begins to absorb his limbs. He tries fanatically to escape as he calls for Robin to save him. All the while, Karuko takes first place after overtaking the guy that made her fall in the previous race. She approaches the area where the man-eater is chowing down. She stops and alerts the other racers of the danger ahead and calls the race off. They turn around to inform headquarters of the situation. Karuko returns to her cart to also evacuate, but her face is struck by horror when the creature turns to reveal her younger brother's half-absorbed body. Without hesitation, she just ons her cart and drives it into the man-eater before it fully devours her brother. She lands in the fetal position covered in cuts. The older sister jets back up and pulls Haruki away. Karuko watches the creature as it leaves the area, but the horror in her eyes magnifies when she turns to her brother to find that it has already eaten a large percentage of his body. She holds him as she cries for someone to help her. Haruki has his last moments as the tears hit his face. He has visions of the times he spent with his loved ones while he gets operated on. Haruki regains consciousness with his limbs intact. He stumbles out of bed and makes his way through the corridor. 2 doctors talk among themselves about a recent man-eater attack. Haruki excuses them and realizes that his voice is different. He looks at a nearby mirror and begins to lose it when he sees that he's in his sister's body. His scream catches the attention of the other hospital staff as they tranquilize him. A doctor retains him in bed. He regains consciousness while they say that the manic episode was due to the shock of her losing her brother. He overhears them and is still adamant that he's Haruki. He asks for the doctor's whereabouts as he must know what happened since he did the operation. They inform him that the doctor skipped town after the operation. Haruki spends time in the hospital recovering. He wonders what happened to his sister and why he's in her body. After 4 months, he's released back into the world, so he makes his way to find Robin and is told that the evidence shows that he could have been murdered, which coincided with the increase in disappearances around that time. He fanatically makes his way to the orphanage to find it empty as he's told that they moved. He makes his way to their old room and mourns the situation before gathering himself to get to the bottom of all of this. Things come back to the present as Kuruko finishes explaining the story to Maru. The guy can't believe it since he has just expressed his feelings, but Kuruko lets him know that he will find someone. Their conversation is interrupted by a scream from one of the crew. When they rush over, he tells them that he saw a giant fish outside the window. There is nothing there at the moment, but Kuruko inspects the window, which is wet, even though it has not been raining. As she tells Maru to inform the captain to keep an eye out, the man-eater style fish appears again and startles them all. It quickly scurries off, giving them the chance to warn everyone of the danger on board. The monster fires a blast at Maru as he confirms its location. Kuruko stands prepared and fires a shot from the plasma gun, which doesn't faze the man-eater. Meanwhile, in the facility named Heaven, Cuckoo watches Kona draw a picture of a baby, and just as she is about to comment how proper babies look like, she is berated by one of the robots for climbing on the table. Tokyo pulls her to the side and tells her to stop disturbing Kona. She tells him that she has seen real babies and they don't have faces, so she offers to show him. Cuckoo leads him to the wall where she effortlessly climbs it using an ability akin to the man-eater currently attacking the ship. Tokyo tries to do the same but is not able to. He uses the suction on the robot that cleans the facility. All the while, in the security room, they monitor the kids and their various behaviors, but when the camera pans to the wall, Tokyo doesn't appear on the feed despite climbing it. He reaches the vent where he is led through the maze by Cuckoo. Back at the ship, the small crew gathers at the captain's deck to formulate a plan on how to deal with this threat. Kuruko is not even sure if the room they are in can withstand the monster's assault, as the bolts in the windows are already falling out. Kuruko points out that the fish man-eater can function on land because it's covered in a thin layer of water. It also attacks and moves in straight lines. The best way to deal with it is to trap it in a place without direct access to water, which is a bit difficult as they are surrounded by H2O. Kuruko decides that they will defeat it inside the ship. Maru is a little worried as they don't have any more plasma shots left, but she tells him that they will be using his ability. She lures it into the ship and then into the compact below deck where some herbs are stored that absorb the water around the fish man-eater, leading it to suffocate. This gives Maru the chance to finish it with ease using his power. During that interval, the two residences of Heaven reach their destination. Cuckoo makes sure the room is clear before they drop down. She shows him real babies which look like the man-eater that ravaged the outside world. As he gets closer, one of them reaches up to interact with him. They are interrupted when the alarm system detects an intruder. Cuckoo jumps up toward their entrance. Tokyo is unable to get up as quickly, so he just surrenders thinking that he has been caught. However, just as the security prepares to open the door, they get a notification that the intruder is in a different part of the facility. They forget to check the incubator room and head straight to the sanctum. Upon their arrival, they are surprised to see that everything is normal there. The monitor room is asked to check for any suspicious activity, and they find nothing. Strangely enough, Tokyo doesn't appear on their feed despite being in the room. Cuckoo offers her hand as leverage, which he uses to climb up, but he leaves a footprint on the wall in the process. As soon as they leave, the baby man-eater repeats Tokyo's name. During that interval, the director asks the robot if she has any reports regarding the alert since she is one with the facility, but the robot gives a smart answer that forces bootleg Professor X to concede. In the interim, Kuruko and Maru arrive at their destination safely. The captain of the ship tries to pay the duo for the man-eater extermination, but they decline as it was done based on survival. However, Kuruko wants the captain and his assistant to give them information about the area so they are better prepared. He enlightens them of the town up ahead if they need to head down the road. Kuruko asks if they have any information about the bird logo on her gun. The captain doesn't, but his assistant notifies them that he has seen a building along the way with the same logo. Just as the duo leaves, the captain tries to get them to stay by offering them a bodyguarding job, but they politely decline. After a short walk, the two come across the building the assistant informed them about. They find it amusing because the guy mistook the logo of the home center chain, which has a chick as its mascot. Meanwhile, in Heaven, Tokyo has noticed that the others are starting to pair up as they reach that curious stage during puberty. His friend, who is seriously sick named Tereo, calls him over and tries some funny business which further upsets Tokyo. Kona notices that Tokyo is not happy and explains things to help in understanding the situation. This leads to a heart-to-heart. Later that night, Tokyo gets a special announcement only for her room informing her that Teruo's condition has worsened. Special permission has been granted for them to talk one last time. Tokyo rushes to the treatment room. The doctors excuse themselves so that the friends can have some privacy. Teruo apologizes for his earlier action before warning Tokyo to run away from the facility as it's dangerous and has a more sinister purpose. That brings the episode to an end.